If I ran a software company or had an app, this is what my product strategy would be for 2026. The first thing is that I would stop designing, planning, building features inside my application. And instead, I would start thinking about what are the experiences that I can design and implement outside of my application where my users are spending most of their day. Instead of customers coming to me to use my stuff, I think about how I can go to them. I think this trend of apps unpackaging themselves is going to be massive in 2026. Okay, so what does this look like? Traditionally, we've seen apps as a thing. Maybe there's a phone version and a web version, but we've thought of them as a physical object. If people want to interact with that object, they go to it. The change that we're seeing now is that you want to see your app as just a collection of data and a collection of features or ideally outcomes that you can provide to the user valuable enough for them to pay you for. So when you think about it that way, what you want to do is think about that data you have and those features or outcomes that you provide and try and make those as accessible to your users as possible. To maybe say this more simply, your app is going to end up just being a custom set of functions or outcomes that you provide to your user, but how they interact with it, that interface layer of how people are interacting with you day to day, that is going to explode into so many different forms and functions that are going to be personal to the user. Let me leave you with an example. So imagine you are Xero, the accountancy firm, right? So you own the data of a business, right? So you've got all of the financial data and records in their current live state sitting within your app. That is the data that you own. The second thing that you own is a series of features or functions or outcomes that you drive for that business. So you might do invoicing, you might do collections, you might do payroll. These are functions that you own that the user wants to trigger. What changes is instead of people logging into the Xero app, maybe they'll trigger an invoice from ChatGPT, or maybe an invoice will be sent off automatically by an AI agent that they've designed. Or maybe they will just spin up a whole other very simplified user interface that doesn't take a whole lot of training to understand because we strip out all of the complexity or a lot of the functionality that's not needed and just create a user interface for one particular role within the business. So however they interact with the Xero app, that doesn't matter because what's the core thing that they're charging for or monetizing is the capture of that data and the execution of those features and functions.